Hello and welcome to Marking the Spots roundup of match day 1 in Group A of the 2017 Confederations Cup. It's kicked off. We've got two games played so far in the group. We've seen Russia take on New Zealand and Portugal face Mexico. Both games produced plenty of goals and plenty of action that certainly kept us entertained and certainly got people talking. So we're going to start off, we're going to look back on the opening game, which saw Russia take on New Zealand. It was a 2-0 win for Russia, and to be fair, they deserved to win. The match started off with Russia on the front foot. Right away from kick-off, they really went at New Zealand and they could have had a host of chances. They didn't though, they had to wait, and it was in the end Denis Glushikov who opened the scoring. It was a sloppy kind of a goal. I mean, the defending was very poor. I mean, the New Zealand defence gets drawn out. It's a lovely through ball played into Glushikov. Apologies if that's not the correct pronunciation. Goalkeeper comes rushing out, he chips over the keeper, and then he gets tangled, and it wasn't actually him who opened the scoring, to be technical. It's Michael Boxall, as Glushkov and two defenders including Boxall scramble to get the ball. It goes in off his arm, and FIFA have deemed it to be an own goal, so that's how the cookie crumbles, I suppose. But it was a very poor performance. New Zealand didn't create a lot of chances, and they were punished for it. I mean, the second goal came through Fedor Smolov, and it was well taken goal, well worked. He picks up the ball, plays it out the wing to Samedov. Samedov squares it in. I mean, Boxall, it hits off his heel, falling straight to the back post for Smolov. Just has to tap it home. But I mean, it was an impressive performance from the Russians. Again, you have to stress it, no disrespect to any New Zealand fans, but New Zealand are not a great team. I mean, they have a lot to improve upon. Going forward, they were very dependent on Chris Wood from Leeds, and it just really wasn't a good performance from them. Russia, you have to wonder, is it because it was the first match on home soil? It's their first competitive game since last summer, because they qualified automatically for next year's World Cup. They don't have to go through any of the qualifying, so that means the last time they played a competitive game was against Wales in their group stage, and they lost 3-0. So they really had to go out. Vladimir Putin, the president, was there, and he was supposedly demanding that they improve their performance in this competition. They certainly got off to a good start. They were on the front foot. You have to presume that's just motivation from being the home team. They really did play well. I mean, I was impressed by one or two players. Glushkov obviously was a driving force in midfield. That seems to be Russia's main strength for me, is their midfield. Seems to be plenty of creativity in there. Up front, Smolov does seem to be quite dangerous, and Dmitry Poloz wearing the number 7 jersey. I was quite impressed with him. He could have had a goal or two. He was just, I saw one or two cleared off the line, and it was very, very good. Very dangerous. He could have also had a penalty. I mean, he came in, rounded the goalkeeper on review. His right knee, the right knee of the attacker Poloz, does seem to be taken out. Referee didn't give it. We didn't go to the video assistant referee, which of course has been a very controversial topic, but we'll get into that when we're talking about the Mexico and Portugal game. But overall, he didn't give the penalty. It could have been given. We've seen it given for less, but it wasn't. But Russia didn't need it. So Russia, they are now contenders. You have to give them. They've got 3 points, but you would have expected them to get 3 points. Their first real test will be when they face Portugal and Mexico. Those two sides, if they can beat them or get a draw to them, they are in a very strong position for going through, because of Mexico drawing with Portugal. So, Russia could be there or thereabouts. I don't think they have it myself. New Zealand don't have the firepower to expose the Russian defence. That does seem to be a bit poor. I mean, New Zealand only got 2 main chances. Ryan Thomas hit a peach of a shot, and Igor Akinfev, the Russian captain and goalkeeper, produced a top-class save to deny him. And then a brilliant header from Tommy Smith was cleared off the line by Yuri Zirkov. I mean, those were close chances. But overall, New Zealand, I don't think they're going to get any points out of this. They might be able to get a point, but if you ask me, they don't really have much hope. It's just been too much for them. They don't have the quality of player, and that's not attacking them. That's just a harsh fact of life, that when they're up against the bigger footballing nations, they just don't have the wherewithal. They are developing, and we might see them come on, but it is going to take some while. especially when rugby is such a big game down under. But anyway, that is it. So Russia get the tournament after start with 3 points in St. Petersburg. Man of the match for me was Fedor Smolov. He was just playing very well. But Dmitry Bolos, he was taken off, but he did impress me. And Russia could be there or thereabouts now. It will be interesting to see, and we'll have to monitor it. So on to the next game in Group A, which was yesterday, Sunday, which saw Portugal take on Mexico. It was a 2-2 draw, and it was highly entertaining. Mexico came from behind twice to on the draw, and their equaliser for the second goal came in the 91st minute. It was absolutely incredible stuff. So Mexico, who have actually won the competition in 1999, they were up against it yesterday. I mean, they played the nicer football in my opinion, and a lot of people are saying that Mexico played beautiful football. The one slight issue is Portugal know how to get a result. They will play ugly football. I don't know if that's the correct word for it. They will just grind out results, and I mean, look, at the end of the day, all that matters is if the ball goes into the back of the net in a legal manner. That's what matters. Portugal really took time to get into the game. First 20 minutes before we even saw Ronaldo, the captain, get involved, and even at that, he wasn't massive before the first goal. The first real incident of this game was the video assistant referee's decision to rule out a Portugal goal. Basically, a free kick was hit into the wall. It comes back to the Portuguese player. I think it was Moutinho. He then lofts it into the box. There's 3 or 4 players who are offside. The ball comes out from that. Ronaldo takes on a strike, hits the crossbar, comes out again, it's kicked in, and Nani gets his foot onto it, and it goes into the back of the net. The players go off celebrating as if they've scored. Video assistant referee comes into the referee's ear. He says that from when the ball was played over from when the free kick hit the wall, so that's 2 or 3 phases back, maybe 15 seconds of play back. He says it's offside, ruled out, so it's back to 0-0. But they didn't have to wait long because Ronaldo was played through by I can't remember. Ronaldo was played through anyway. It was a good enough ball. Ronaldo didn't have the pace though. Salcedo was on him. Ronaldo takes the time, turns in, spins around, and plays a brilliant ball, to be fair to him, across the face of goal to Quaresma. Quaresma takes a touch, rounds the onrushing Ochoa, and finishes into the back of the net. It was a well taken goal. Ronaldo, he kind of stumbled, to be fair. It was a good ball played forward to him, and the Ronaldo of old, shall we say, if he was 2 or 3 years younger, he would have taken on the strike himself. He kind of had a poor touch that forced him into the pass. He had great vision to see the pass though, and Quaresma finished it off with aplomb. However, the Mexico reply was fantastic through Javier Hernandez. It's a lovely, to be fair, it's a missed kick from Rafael Guerrero. Gives the ball to Carlos Vela, and Vela whips it into the box, and Hernandez, I don't know how he does it, a diving header. He beats Pepe to the ball, and the absolute speed he puts on the ball to get it past Rui Patricio in goal was absolutely incredible. I couldn't believe it. It was just the speed of it alone was fantastic. So that saw it end 1-1 at the break, and it was absolutely frantic. It really was. The second half was quite boring. It was quite dull. We didn't see much, and it was eventually Cedric who made it 2-1 to Portugal. He did 5 minutes from time. It was a messy goal again. There was a lot of poor defence from Mexico, and the ball just kind of pops up to him in the box, and he rifles it. He just puts these laces through it, fires it past Ochoa, and we all thought it was game over, ball burst, done and dusted, but it wasn't, because a free kick comes in. It's cleared out for a corner, and from the corner, Hector Moreno rises highest. Jose Font of West Ham. He moved to West Ham. I forgot about that nearly. He was battling Moreno, but he seemed more interested in wrestling with him than actually going for the header. And it's a good guided cushion header from AS Roma's new player. And he took it well, and it's a very important point for Mexico, because if they didn't get anything out of this game, you would feel they'd be up against it. Now, any team that's coming up against New Zealand, of these two, you would expect them to get 3 points. I think Russia will be a good test. Russia could be the making and breaking of Mexico or Portugal. I honestly believe that. Russia, if they can get a result against any of these two sides, they could really put the other in jeopardy. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. And it was a good goal from Mexico. And to be fair, I think Mexico deserved the draw. They played such nice football. Now, that doesn't always happen in life, as we know that football isn't fair, but overall it was quite a good goal, and it was an entertaining game, and it was a good way to round up Group A, and it was very enjoyable. My man of the match for that one, I'd have to give it to Hernandez. The way he took that goal really impressed me, and look, they gave it to Ronaldo. Ronaldo had the assist. That was about the most of it. So after those games, this is how Group A looks. Russia sit on top with 1 game played, 1 win and 3 points. Mexico are in second, 1 game played, 1 draw, 1 point. And of course, Portugal have 1 game played, 1 draw and 1 point. And New Zealand sit bottom, 1 game played, 1 loss and a negative 2 goal difference, while Russia have a plus 2 goal difference. So that's how Group A is looking. My goal of the group so far would probably have to be, I'm going to give it to Hernandez. The way he took that header, the speed he put on it, and just the cushion, and the cross from Vela is very well put in. It was very, very well taken. So it is going to be interesting to see how it all pans out in the next upcoming group games. We have already seen Group B in action, but we're going to leave that. We're going to do a Group B roundup tomorrow, and we'll let you know how Group B is getting on. It's been quite entertaining. The Confederations Cup is certainly different. I find it interesting anyway. We get to see sides going at it, and it's going to be very interesting. So Russia are in a commanding position at the moment, and if you want to read full match reports of this, please do visit markingthespot.com, and you can get all your sporting news there. We'll be back tomorrow for a roundup of Group B. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to leave your views down below. What do you think of the Confederations Cup? Has it been a success, or has it been a bit boring? Thank you for listening, and we will see you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.